Hi, this is Narajoy Pactal, and this time we are going to learn about direct speech, indirect speech, and how to transform direct speech to indirect speech. So, what is really a direct speech, indirect speech? Sometimes in spoken or written communication, we hear the original tale. Other times, we hear the retelling of the story. So we will explore this concept by learning what is direct speech and indirect speech. Imagine yourself, you are with your friend. This is you and your friend, Tim. Suddenly, Tim said, I am hungry. That statement is a direct speech. It reports the exact words spoken. So, Tim left to find food. Later, your friend Clark came asking where is Tim. Then you said he left to find food. Then Clark asked, why? Then you replied, Tim said that he was hungry. Now, that statement is an indirect speech. It reports the utterances of someone in the past. According to Lucy Kunstler, there are 3 steps that you need to consider in transforming direct speech to indirect speech. What are those? The first one is identify the verb. The second, identify the verb tense. And the third is one step backward. What is meant by one step backward? Let's learn some examples. We have here, this is a direct speech. Carl hates feathers, Joy said. So the first step, identify the verb. What is the verb in this? It's hates. This is our verb. So next, identify the verb tense. What is the tense of hates? Is it future, past, present? What do you think? This is present simple. Hates is present simple. So the third step is one step backward. What do you think is the one step backward of hates? Oh, first, what is the one step backward of present simple? It is past simple. So the one step back, the past simple of hates is heated, right? Heated is the past simple of hates. So our word now is, our indirect speech is this one. Joy said that Carl hated feathers. That is now our indirect speech. So another example. Our direct speech is, they are playing badminton, Cherry told us. The first step, identify verb. Be careful this time because there is not only one verb, but there are 2 parts. The verb here is are playing. This is our verb. So, identify the verb tense of our playing. What is the verb tense of our playing? It is present continuous. So the third one step backward. What do you think is a one step backward of present continuous? It is past continuous. Right? Past continuous. So what is the past continuous of are playing? It is are to where. We're playing. We're plus ing. So our indirect speech now is this one. Cherry told us that they were playing badminton. That is now indirect speech. Actually, there are many things that you need to consider in transforming direct speech to indirect speech, and we will learn those in details. So let's go to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, direct to indirect speech. We have here a definition of direct speech and indirect speech. First is direct speech. It is also known as quoted speech, consists of words or phrases that are taken directly from the sources. These words are quoted or written exactly as the words were originally spoken. Indirect speech, it is also known as reported speech. It is when words or phrases are reported in our own words. In grammar, when you report someone else's statement in your own words without any change in the meaning of the statement, it is called indirect speech. So let's have the important terminologies. Reporting speech. The first part in the direct speech is called reporting speech. That is reporting speech. The first part in direct speech. Reported speech. It is the second part of the sentence which is closed in quotation marks. There are quotation marks. That is reported speech. Reporting verb. The verb of the reporting speech is called the reporting verb. Example, they said, the said, that is the reporting verb. Reported verb. The verb of the reported speech is called the reported verb. Next, to change direct speech to indirect speech, we need to consider the tense, pronoun, words that describe time, place, distance, types of sentences, and many more. Let's have the first thing that we need to consider, the pronoun. In an indirect speech, the pronoun changes according to the speaker, whether he or she is referring himself or herself or a third person. Let's have some example. Our first direct speech example is George said, I cannot be with thee. There are two pronouns here. The first pronoun is I and the second pronoun is you. So when we will transform it to indirect speech, it will become George said that he could not be with me. The I was turned to he. Why? Because George is a boy and George is the one who uttered the statement. It will become he. Then he is referring to me and I am the one who is reporting. So me. Our indirect speech is George said that he could not be with me. Another example, direct speech. I said, leave me. So once transform it to indirect speech, it will become I ordered to leave me alone. So why it hasn't changed? It's still the same, right? It's because I am the one who uttered the statement and I am also referring to myself. That is why I said leave me. So the direct speech is I ordered to leave me alone. Next, more examples. We have direct speech. They said, we will be partying tonight. Our pronoun here is they and we. We'll transform it to indirect speech. It will become they said that they would be partying that night. We is transformed to they. Our example, I told George you should stay. It will become I told George that he should stay. Because I'm the one who uttered the statement. I'm referring to George. George is a boy, so he, that is he. Another example, she asked, how are you doing today? For indirect speech, it will become, she asked me how I was doing that day. Because she's referring to me. She's asking me if was I doing fine? That is why our direct speech is, she asked me how I was doing that day. Our last example for pronoun, direct speech, Robert said, can you pull me up? And if we'll transform it in direct speech, it will become, Robert asked if I could pull him up. So Robert is referring to me. So I could pull him up. Next thing that you'll need to consider is the type of sentences. And the reporting verb will also base on the type of sentences. To emphasize the intention of the speaker. So we have first, reporting interrogative sentences. So if there is a yes or no question in the direct speech, then the reported speech will start with whether or if, and the reported clause form will be subject plus verb. So example, Peter said, "Are you from Australia?" So we'll transform to indirect speech. It will become, Peter asked if I was from Australia. It will not anymore be said because, remember, we will emphasize the intention of the speaker. So Peter is asking. Obviously, there is a question mark. Australia. There's a question mark. So we will use the word asked. Peter asked if we'll use if I was from Australia. The next example is, Tom asked, "Do you want to sit here?" And we will retain this because it's already asked. So Tom asked, in direct speech is Tom asked whether or if. We will use whether I wanted to sit there. There, it will be there. Next, in indirect speech, questions starting with who, whom, when, how, where, and the what WH word would be the subject or the object of the reported clause. For example, we have your direct speech. Brad said, "Who will come with me?" So when we will transform it to indirect speech, it will become, Brad asked, because he is asking, Brad asked who. We will put who. Then after that, who would go with him? Who would go with him? The next example is for direct speech. Tina said, "What will be the charges?" Then if we'll transform it to indirect speech, it will become, Tina inquired, because Tina is inquiring. Inquiring what? What charges? So Tina inquired what the charges would be. That is our indirect speech. Next, another example. I said to the man, "Where is the hotel?" So for indirect speech, it will become, I asked the man where the hotel was. So our last example, direct speech. Mother said, "How is the chicken?" If we transform it to indirect speech, it will become, Mother asked me how the chicken was. Next, reporting statement sentences. So in a statement speech, we will use that before the reported statement, and the reported verb will be told, followed by an object, or said will not be followed by an object if it is said. For example, direct speech. Edward said, "I like the book." For indirect speech, it will become, Edward said that, before the reported statement, right, that he liked the book. Another example, direct speech. Ali said, "I want you to sing." Then direct speech, Alice told me to sing. So we use told, so it will be followed by an object. And the object here is me. So Alice told me to sing. Next, reporting imperative sentences. Imperative sentences. We will use to as joining clause before the reported command or request, and the reported verb will be changed according to the moods of the sentence. Moods here don't refer to emotions. It refers to ordered, requested, urged, advised, forbade, or begged. It refers to the tenses. Example, direct speech. The man said, "Please bring me a chair." The man is requesting. So our indirect speech will be, the man requested to, joining clause, we'll use to as joining clause, to bring him a chair. Next example, a direct speech. We have here, the officer said, "Fall back." So what is usually the officer do? It's ordering.